how has the threat environment changed over the past 6 months?
Well, I mean, you kind of nailed it there when you said that. Everything that we were working on and everything we were sort of forecasting has gone out the window. Sort of where this, this discussion kind of got its title. If you had asked me back in, January 2020, what sort of time and technology we were living, I would have said the Wild West. But looking forward here now, months later after COVID, it's very clear to say that we were living in sort of frontier days. We were living in a time before mass migration of people, before a lot of business and assets came out. It's very clear now that we're living in these sort of Wild West days, and with the good comes the bad. And so with the good security and the good security staffers, we now have villains that are incredibly potent and actually scary.
So as Chris very eloquently called out, I am a Canadian, and don't hold that against me. But a couple of weeks ago, the Canada Revenue Agency was breached with a credential stuffing attack. And then last week, it was breached again. 49,500 records were stolen from the Canadian equivalent of the IRS. Yeah. That's a pretty interesting representation, I think, of the current threat environment. Specifically, they targeted Canadians that were receiving the COVID emergency benefit thing, right? So anyway.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question based off of that. So how have these bad actors changed? Are they the same people doing the same crap, or has the landscape evolved?
We are seeing a sort of increased frequency of attack, but that is simply because, same as everyone else, all businesses and individuals, it's their ability to communicate is greatly expanded. They're able to group up, test, share ideas, share information. And because of, same as everyone else and us working on these projects, they have a lot more time on their hands. That has allowed them to essentially just completely target and focus and put themselves into a sphere of thinking. I would also say that, their attitude has become significantly more brazen. As more targets, or AKA us, people are out there and businesses, you're putting more treasure, you're putting more jewels, more stuff out there that's enticing, and they want to take it, and they are going to.
Oh, man. It's really early to have an existential crisis, Garrett.
It might.
But look, let's build on that a little bit. So you're on the front lines, right? You're a maker. You're making cool stuff with hardware. You're a senior engineer at VirtualArmour. So clearly you're in the thick of this. What are you seeing? Is there a change in the threats you're seeing? Is there a change in the trends that you're seeing across the networks that you manage?
Yes, there is. I would say first and foremost, we're seeing, oddly enough, a decrease in our zero-day attacks. And that really comes because there have been sort of updates to technology. We're getting better at policy and compliance, and we're getting our tackling down. However, that has shifted from attacks on systems and networks to an increase on attacks on the individual, if you will. User behavior analytics has become absolutely huge. I would also say, in addition to the decrease in actual attacks, we're seeing a massive increase in flow data. Essentially, again, entire businesses, education systems, et cetera, have all gone from a traditionally, internal network to going external now. And tech companies and people are just sort of struggling to keep up pace.
So for the technologically illiterate Canadian, can you walk me through what flow data is?
Sure. So flow data tends to be more the network data, what we're getting when it's coming externally, and the ability to kind of view this stuff as instead of a specific instance in time, it's an entire capture in time. We're saying, what did they do across this whole thing? The good thing about that flow data and network data in general is that, unlike system logs, system events, which can be corrupted, deleted, they can be, sent off in various directions with network data doesn't lie. Network data tells us, maybe they're obscuring what they're transferring, but we know someone was there and they know they were doing something at this time. So we've definitely seen sort of that shift towards needing to watch network side more than even event side.